I got a little memento from work. Bet you wouldn't believe what this is. This is a pin that goes in certain things to hold things together. Big projects like alpha male projects, Elbow. But as you notice, it's not quite right. I'll show you, for those of you, particularly the women that don't know much about pins. I've got an arc clip here somewhere, bugger if I know where I put it, but that's a cheap shit version of an arc clip. And these are other pins left by the previous customer that are all just thrown in the gravel out the back. And you keep coming across a lot of them. Now what they basically do is there'll be something that's got to be stopped sliding out of something or held in, so they put it in, but you've got a big end, and then your little clip will go through your hole there. And these are other cheap shit clips that come from another customer, but they go like that. And it can't fall out because you've got to clip one end and that the other. You usually got an R clip, which I've got one blown around somewhere amongst a whole bunch of shit that come from working here. The customers leave a lot of screws behind. Bloody good ones too. Some of them are far bigger than that. Amazing. Even an oxy lighter. Anyway, long and short of it is there's these little things that are only a tiny little sheet metal thing that get used, and they have a little spring in them that buggers up, so you got to bend them open slightly. It doesn't take much at all to get them open. Pull the spring out, put a new spring in, and close them up again. Well, instead of just tapping them with a normal hammer, a certain person, a particular Turk that I used to work with, decided, he was a crazy sort of guy, he decided to use a mash hammer, which is like it's not a sledgehammer, but it's like a miniature thing where the head is literally a bit of steel that's like that, with a very short handle that's probably only 8 inches or something like that. See, this Turk was a very eccentric character. He was brought in to help me replace a whole heap of plywood on this aluminium-based formwork. Well, actually, that aluminium-based formwork is held up with these little... It's not held up, it's just held in the correct position with these little sheet metal things. And basically, this guy, he was obsessed with hammering things. So instead of using a normal claw hammer, he was using a mash hammer. And instead of just hitting it directly, he decided that he should have some sort of a buffer. Whether it was a chisel or Anyway, it ended up being this whaler bolt, as it's called. And, yeah, that was a fully round hole at one point. And he hammered and he hammered and he hammered. And you could hear the hammering in the office 200 yards away, through walls and everything, at the reception desk. And there's all the indentations. That's not the hammer, that's the thing it was hitting. And it's mushroomed this right around like that. This here, as you can see with a small one, should be the same size right to the end. And that there should be perfectly circular to put a giant clip in. But this guy managed to hammer this thing. This is solid steel. This is not a pipe. This is solid steel. And there's his hammer strike marks. He managed to hammer this thing. Look at the marks on this side. Till it mushroomed out. So, they're both facing, I'll get it in better light here, they're effectively both facing the same position. Your bigger end there and your hole. But he beat the shit through this thing and managed to mushroom the fucking thing. The force behind that would have been phenomenal. It was such a bizarre character. They actually gave it to me just before stock take as a bit of a memento, but I kept it, it was kept in the shed, and I thought when I'm leaving, no, I'm going to take this, because that is phenomenal, that a guy could actually hammer a piece of solid steel into a mushroom like that and flatten something this heavy duty. Absolutely remarkable. He was a very strange character. He was a prick of a guy to work with. He's a great guy when you weren't working, but the rest of the time, my gosh, you'd argue about everything. He always wanted to do it his way. He had no idea of the standards and the procedures and what else it was connecting onto and how good it needed to be and what the company standards book said. He just decided that he wanted it his way, and he'd argue about fucking stuff he had no idea what it was even being used for, or why it was even being used, or where it was even being used, and what its purpose was. And I'll tell you what, frickin' hell, I nearly quit over him, to be honest, but rest of the time he was so unbelievably funny. There's another pin that's like this. It's not as big. It's only probably about, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch or something like that, and it's a lot longer. And I remember over in Turkey, you got to do national service, and this guy was a Turk, and he done his national service, and he was saying, "Oh, look at these. These remind me of the bullets out of an anti-aircraft gun." I thought, holy smoke, I wouldn't even let you near a fucking air rifle, let alone an anti-aircraft gun. But, as part of his military service, he had to do that. So he saw all that sort of stuff. But you reckon he got very good marks there and would, follow orders and this and that. I felt like saying, bro, you probably stopped following orders as soon as you got out of the fucking national service, because I got a funny feeling you haven't been good at following orders since. But anyway, he also used to count things, and he used to count it all in Turkish. So it'd be, and then he'd tell you the English number of how many there was. That was fucking funny. He was 53 years old, and the jokes and the shit the guy would do, fuck me, he'd carry on. He's like Elvis, he's a bloody 12-year-old at heart, even though he's 53. But anyway, I thought I'd show you that little thing. It's just unbelievable what people can do when they're a little bit crazy. Isn't that right, Black Kitty? Yes. See, look at that little face, eh? Yes. Yes.